Okay, so we have a little bit of history to go over. There we go. So at the end of the first, um, at the end of the first campaign, uh, Dan's character Kaioken had use of three, I believe, spells of wish left, and he wanted to use one of those wishes to revive the once extinct Goliath civilization that was his home. And then he wanted to revive the extinct, or at least thought of as extinct, Cochrane civilization that he had found out about due to his magical item that housed the soul of one of them. And I believe, did you use one of them, like another one of them, for making the mountain city?
Spent like all of my money hiring dwarves, and after I hired them, then I asked Soul to teleport me to the mountain.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So the rest of the campaign happens, and then presumably, um, Kaioken goes back to um, where he wanted to make the city with all of these people. Uses Spell Wish 1, uses Spell Wish 2, um, and brings these people back. And we're assuming that he had a pretty peaceful life afterwards, being a retired adventurer and so on and so forth. Um, at
As peaceful as a Goliath could be.
Yeah, yeah. The Goliath like people are incredibly competitive, and so if you're like, what is it? What's the saying? Might makes right. So if you're not the strongest, then you are not the shit, right?
And
And you don't get to.
especially bringing in all these people being the apex guardian of this place, I
Yeah,
had to prove constantly. And that was like my whole goal for building all of this area
yeah,
is to like build an area to strengthen people and to like our strength would uh, uh, like be our own city's strength. Like
yeah,
our strength is our strength, right? Like
yeah.
we
Makes
have this
sense.
defendable area that I know is like we can't get invaded on, and it's just growing and learning from the land and fighting each other. You know, like
Yeah,
uh, yeah, that's it.
yeah. So, oh, there we go. Wow. Thank you, Lo-Fi Beats, for turning on. Um, so essentially, that was the piece before, and then now we find ourselves taking a slight flashback to Kaioken being in his throne. This is not the current map, not this one, but Kaioken is at his throne. He's got his super dope Apex jewel on, full display. It's this amethyst that fits right in the center of his forehead, noting him as the apex predator of this mountain and the responsibilities therein. Um, Kaioken, you're by yourself for a moment, and you are taking time to reflect on your life thus far. You're an old man, right? Like I don't think that they had finite years, or do they? Did you reach like a druid age enough
No,
to?
have to be level 20, but Goliaths are similar to human years, so I'm like 70. Pretty old
Yeah.
for
So
that active lifestyle.
yeah. So, all of the arthritic joints that would come in with mountain climbing and so on and so forth, and all that. Um and you find yourself tired. You think, all right, it's probably time to retire to bed. And you go to stand up, and you look down at your feet since they don't move, and you notice, almost like the Matrix, you see stone starting to form at first, what looks like over your legs, or over your feet, as it starts to creep up onto you. You want to make me a strength saving throw and then add like 5. Because this is still when you were Mr. Level 20. Fucking 25. Yeah. So you are able to, at first, like, you bust through, you pull your legs out of one and start trying to, like, you know how, like, when you have boots on and, like, you're in the mud,
Right, they're
right?
sticking each
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. It's making it harder and harder and harder. You bust through, and then you have enough wherewithal to look up as you're trying to bust free, and you go to call for your axe. Now, remind me again, did you freed Alan from
Reed Allen, yeah. So I
Wandering
was
Doom,
using,
right?
yeah, I was using the headsman's axe, which I don't think it had that
It
capability.
didn't have that capability. But in your throne room, where all of your trophies from battle are, all of that, you see Wandering Doom there, and you do call out to it, and it does come to you. Because as you found out after freeing him, Wandering Doom came back to you not because of the soul that was trapped inside. It was a magic item that also housed a soul. So a dual purpose. So it comes back to you. And you go to look down to cleave effectively your leg off.
Right.
Because it's now creeping up. Every second that you're not taking to, like, look down, it's effectively creeping up, and it's gotten to your waist side. So you're all
Right.
right.
Unga bunga smash, yeah.
Here we go.
Get off
And
me.
as you go to do that, you freeze and you see rock into blackness. And then nothingness. And you know how when you
Who's
go to
dead?
sleep? Huh?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, character's
So,
dead.
well,
Good
I'm
night,
dead, I
everybody.
guess.
Thank you. Almost like when you go to sleep, you know how, like, when you close your eyes, there's that moment of silence, and the next thing you know, your eyes are waking back up, and you're awake. You become aware to um this deep, like, feeling within yourself that is urging you to fight. Um, there's no words associated with it. There's just the emotion of anger, rage, frustration. It is almost, in your old age, you know it is almost infantile. It's
Right.
it's it's a it's a child's rage. It's a temper tantrum building up. In an urge to push forward. Now I need you to make me a strength saving throw with no bonuses. Fuck, dude. You got a +6 to your strength saving throw? Alright.
I have a, yeah.
You're a monster. Good. Um, so with that, you feel your arms. You can't see. So everything is black. You can't breathe. But you are aware of this substance around your arms, right? It feels like stone. You've been around the mountains for your entire life almost. And as
Right.
you break through this rock, it feels like really thin concrete slurry. You know how that's like chips and
Yeah.
breaks, and you can feel these like
Right. Shale.
yeah, exactly. And your arms bust free, and you kind of do this thing where you just, like, your fingers, old and, like, callous, just bust into the rock and almost like a mask,
Right.
like, take it off. And
Right.
you and you look around, and you're like, half of your body is encased in this shit, and you notice these root systems that have been stuck up, that are, like, latched into this rock, almost like overgrowth, into your body. And
Like
you,
vine.
yeah,
Like
like,
kind of that creeped in. Okay.
exactly, exactly. That they, you see them where there's stone, they go into the stone, and where there is flesh, you see them go into your flesh, almost like an IV, right? And you can see them running under your skin, tracing out what once was tattooed, tattoo-esque
Yeah.
tracings of your veins, which are no longer there because you used magic way back when to reverse the
Right.
spell that you were under. Um, and you bust yourself free. So now you're in this room. This room that you find yourself in, at first, it's familiar. Um, it's the throne room that you were just in, but it looks dusty. It looks like what is it?
Worn and decrepit.
Yeah, it looks like a dungeon, really. It looks like these torches that you see around you are they're obviously magically lit. They don't look like any of the decadence that you once had. There's a giant brazier in the beginning, or in the middle of the room that's not lit. It smells dank and musty and cold in here, as
Right.
opposed to
And
literally
there's no murals, there's no banners,
there's
there's
no
no
light
artwork.
there. No, nothing. This is all there's crumbling rock and tile around you. Um, you are free to move about. There is a door opposite you that looks like it has been closed. This would be the big double doors that used to be the entranceway to your throne room.
With this would be dim light or low light or dim
This would
light.
be dim light, yeah.
Um, before I do anything, just take a look around, look behind me, just kind of like see if the rock
Oh,
thing
yeah.
is gonna come back at me. Like just kind of like take a second to like assess if I'm under attack again from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Damn, I'm hot tonight.
Dude, this is the best rolls you're gonna have, and then when we start the actual campaign
I
proper,
know,
it's
dude.
gonna be
I
fucked.
know.
All right,
Don't
yeah,
ask me
yeah,
to
yeah.
do anything.
So looking around, you notice, like for one, the remnants of this statue. It looks like you just broke a statue, and you're just standing in the middle of the rubble. It's also intertwined with, like I was saying before, this odd growth of like almost what looks like tree roots that have been burrowing into this spot. It is at this point that you feel like a thud, what feels like coming from around, like just in the earth, just a big like a doof that you feel in your feet. And as you go to survey to look to see where the threat is or whatever, you notice there's a chest on either side of you that looks, it's old. Everything in here is covered with such a thick layer of dust, it's almost unbelievable. Like think Ace Ventura 2 when he goes to dust for Prince, right? That whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Like everything is like has a very heavy tint of gray. These two chests on either side are they've been opened up. Where your weapons and everything, all your trophies used to be, once were like your belt of giant strength, shit like that. It's all gone. There's nothing in this room at all. There's a couple of smashed bits on either side where those used to be audience seating. But for the most part, nothing. There's just this repetitive duff, duff, duff. If
I'll
you
definitely
want.
go towards that noise, left or right, whichever. Okay,
Perfect.
right
Yeah,
here.
that's it's you'd be walking towards the brazier then. When you get to the brazier, you would see um in the middle of it, so there's old like coal around what looks to be the point of a singular massive cloudy diamond, like a naturally occurring diamond, probably about the size of like your actual head, like this
Shit.
huge thing. It's a centerpiece. It's like an artistic centerpiece of this that's supposed to represent like the compressed carbon that is this mountain, right? Um, what do you want to do?
Uh, try and reach for it, pull it out, heave it out.
Yeah. As soon as you touch it, you feel your mind being pressed, right? You feel this like willingness to enter space with you. You want to make a wisdom saving throw for me? Sick. Okay, yeah. So you have a flood of emotions that are not your own, that are being like thrown your way. Um, it's a very weird sensation because on one hand, it does feel like you are overjoyed. you are relieved, you are excited, but at the same time you have so much to tell, but it's not you. It is the feeling of like you pretending to be someone who wants all of these things for you. Um, you have not really interacted with this in, like too much, but this immediately recognizes your confusion and like your apprehension and pullback, and it, in a way, introduces itself as a Saren, the mountain, in a way that you can comprehend immediately. You recognize this is the mountain itself. It has gained a level of sentience, though you don't know why. Um, it just it it consistently feels like a baby, and when it is addressing you in this immediate instance, you feel yourself be labeled creator.
Is it stationary, or can I pick it up, or is it stuck in the brazier?
Go ahead and give me an athletics check. You're rusty. You go to pull and you
Really?
feel,
Yes,
yep,
yes, I am.
yep. You immediately notice your arms, your body is not what it once was.
Right. Like,
Where in your prime, even in your old age prime, you were
yeah, full big
very
strength.
Hulk-esque, very just stacked on stacked on stacked with muscle. And now, looking at yourself as you go to pull it up, you're used to seeing these big heaving fucking biceps that are just crawling with like dick skin veins. You know what I mean? And as you go to pick it up, you just you get it to kind of like, but it doesn't like, you can't lift this thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And you would
Uh,
probably recognize that, if you don't use it, you lose it.
right.
That idea would definitely cross your mind after a couple of tries.
Um, Mentally, I'd probably be expressing like my confusion for why I'm not like what is happening? Why can't I why can't I do this? It's just why can't I like just why?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Does
yeah,
that
yeah.
does that come across to the
It does. It does. Your immediate confusion, you can you feel this, this line of communication between you and the mountain. Um when you articulate certain emotions like that towards it, it does respond. Let me see here
is
real
it
quick.
kind of like Iron Druid with the primordials or the elementals, I mean, to
Kind
where like
of.
gratitude, uh,
It's
thanks,
it's
like
it's actually less sophisticated of a communication than that. It
okay,
is it
just
is
raw
much more
emotion.
raw emotions, yeah,
Okay,
and then mixed with an understanding, if that makes any sense.
right.
Um,
Sort of
one
like
second. Yeah,
I want to use attunement. Like it's like a you
yeah,
look at someone and you know what they're feeling, or you know what their like thought process is, that kind of thing.
very very similar. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So when you have this thought of like, why can't I lift this? What happened around this generalized confusion? You are bombarded with what looks like images, right? This is odd third person images and visions. You lose your own vision for you don't know how long. But one thing that you do, there's a few things that actually happen. You notice um, you and this mountain. You think back, you harken back to, if I may, you harken back to the memory of the first time that you came to this mountain after you had successfully revived both civilizations and had completed the um, construction, right? You remember walking at the base of the mountain and looking up, but the memory that you're seeing is actually in reverse. So it shows you walking up backwards. Then you see you can feel like I want to say, let's be cheesy here for a second. You feel like a rushing of wind as like the next vision kind of takes hold, and you see yourself standing at the top of a mountain. This is before the construction was complete, and you've got this ring, and this ring has a big gemstone in the middle of it, and you are speaking. To you, it just sounds like garbled nonsense. You're blah 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 blah, and then boom, flash of light. You remember this as the memory of you creating. Are you bringing back the civilizations that you did? And then the next one that you get is you have a vision of you standing at the peak of this mountain and looking, surveying all around. This is slightly different. This does not feel like an actual memory. This actually feels like something um, new or something that is not of your own. You are seeing yourself scanning all the way around this mountain as you see the forest that once was a vibrant green, like almost like
Most of it was a druidic, like whatever the spell, the sanctuary,
yeah,
or
yeah,
basically like the whatever druids had accumulated there, including myself, would have been like producing their own crops, like
hmm,
making livestock like areas, and like it
yeah,
would have been a lush, vibrant,
exactly.
beautiful.
All of like the heightened colors, like take your color slider and saturation all the way up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you, but noticing that you're seeing everything going to a dark gray and dead tones as you're seeing all of the crops that you're describing, those all wilt and go away. The landscape around you is dying, and then you see that starting at the mountain and then just out in all directions at once as it starts to turn this ashen color and lose its life. Those are what you get before you snap back out of it and you're in this dark, dank, dusty fucking room.
So I'd probably like pick myself up, and you'd see like his weathered, cracked skin, and like so Goliaths have like a stone texture about them. The older, more mature that they get,
Yeah.
you see one uh, blue crystalline tear follow down and go through like the Indian
Nice.
tear.
Yeah. As you see a dwarf
And
throw some gum wrapper on the ground.
no,
You
not like this.
not
Um,
this way.
I will continue to try to communicate further, like I guess more confusion with
Hmm.
why and when this is like what.
Oh boy. Let's see. The only response that you would get would be the idea of, and not even exactly, it would be to you countless suns coming up and going down, coming up and going down, coming up like a time lapse shot
Right,
of
that
the
sounds
sun and
sweet.
moon cycle would just be
Right,
constantly spinning. Um,
I
did you
can
say
count that as
why?
low now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
why? Yeah.
Uh, that I don't know if let's find out. RD100. Let's see. You would feel back confusion. Um, I believe you could probably gleam. It would be confusion as to your confusion. Like if you're like, and this thing goes, like what?
All right, let's try like my family, like my hearth, my kin,
Hmm.
like me? You know what I mean? Like, do you
Yeah.
know where, when? Like,
So
did they
so
leave? Are they here?
you would probably, if I'm assuming, you would probably start having the memories of your family, like generating the picture memories of your family. Um is as like a these people, you know what I mean? When you say your
Yeah.
family, are you talking about like your wife and child, or are you talking about like your
Yes.
extended family? So
Yeah.
your
Wife and
wife
child.
and child, you you would get, in response, you would get the equivalent of a you would see a group of Goliaths, and then a group of bird people, and then a group of dwarves. That's, if you want to make me an investigation check. Let's see if you can put these things together.
Suit.
Yeah. You're like, wow, weird. Three groups of people.
That's amazing. Um, so feeling kind of like at a standstill with that, I'm gonna stand back up and recall like I called the Wandering Doom, and then
Yep.
do I still have it in my hand, or is it nearby this where I broke out of the statue?
You don't have it at all.
Okay.
And you see nothing in this room that would
Can
be
I try
like,
to call to it? I think it only has. I mean, it would have to be 60 feet away. I think was the
yeah.
farthest.
Yeah, you try to call to it. You kind of do the handout, and you're like
Yeah,
uh
where are they?
like Thor, right?
Thor.
Like
Yeah.
Thor, like, come on, come on. Nothing, man.
I'm gonna go to one of the chests then and
Okay.
see if it's empty or
Yeah.
locked or.
Yeah, you kind of kick it open. It's already kind of open, like you could tell it's been opened, but it wasn't like meh all the way. You gotta like kick it open, look inside. It's just dust and bones, man. Not even bones. It's just dust and cobwebs.
All right, second one.
Kick it open. Look inside. Nothing, man. This place has
Wow.
been picked clean already.
All right, then I will survey one last time and kind of shake my head, thinking about what this place once was, and
Yeah.
go back to the crystal and put my hand on it and be like, "I'll be back. You're safe here." Like, I don't know what raw emotion I would be able to convey uh, what I'm trying to express, but
You would be
um,
trying to impress comfort.
right, yes,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I
comfort,
gotcha. I gotcha.
yeah,
Let's see here. Uh, uh, one. Okay. What you get in response is you get the feeling of fear, and you get that same vision that you had before of you walking in reverse from the mountain, and then you're back to you.
can I try and I'll like try and use my like this at this point in this person's lifetime, they've gotten so used to Apex Jewel. Can I
Oh yeah.
try and use that like Sadar ping to like see like mountain surrounding terrain, like who's here?
Roll me a D100. We're gonna do a little bit of luck. Don't worry, Ricky. You're coming in hot here in just a second.
83.
Gotcha. So what you find is that you cannot feel. You don't. For one, let's start here. Uh, you don't have your Apex gem.
Okay, okay, that's what I was.
So when you go, you kind of do like
I
that
go to that
Professor
feeling of like I
Xavier,
got
like,
this. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and you're like, the fuck? There's not even a
oh,
dent there anymore where it
yeah,
should be. It's
just
just a
it's
smooth
flat.
forehead. When you put the effort towards trying to use that ability to know every living creature on your within your domain, you feel the mountain respond, and
Okay,
it gives you that same vision of a group of Goliaths, a group of bird people, and a group of dwarves. You see like like a lot of like if you were to take like a faraway picture, it would be like three groups, like three separate crowds kind of close to each other, standing on top of what you know would be the mountain peak before it was like created, before the city was created.
It was like a snapshot of before.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah,
is
but
what I
it
could kind of discern. It was like this is an old feeling that's not happening
no,
or not.
no, it wouldn't be old. It would be current, but
Okay.
it's give me one more investigation. Let's see if you can decipher this vision that it's giving you.
Thank God.
Holy fuck me. Okay, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So you would
19.
so as you're kind of feeling this is like the third time that you've fucking seen this vision, right?
Right.
You're like, "Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. The mountain is this being, right? And it's telling you that on this mountain, which it's giving you the full picture of it as a mountain, there are groups of Goliath, there are groups of these bird people, and then there are groups of dwarves. Currently,
Okay.
there are these three types of people. It can't pick out individuals from the group, but it can tell you, based off of what they do to it and around it and in it, what they are.
Um, Last thing I do before I leave is I'd probably find just scrap wood. Like I'm assuming this thing over here is pretty well lit and it's just like a broken down barrel or something.
Yeah, sure.
Grab that and then cover up the diamond
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
to
Do you just kind of
hide
like
it. I don't
pile
think
up a
anyone
bunch of
can
garbage
move it, but
around?
I'm just like, yeah, just
Yeah.
like I don't know what to. I
It's like,
can't
here,
move
let's
you,
just let's
so
just
I'm gonna
hide
just
this
try to
thing here.
hide
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
got you. I
exactly.
got you.
And then exit.
And then
Um,
you go to exit. Sick.
yeah.
So, in front of you are two double doors that kind of lead up to a point, right?
Mhm.
And they look like they would be pushing out away from you.
Okay.
So I assume you want to open the
Want to
doors.
push the fuck out of those?
Give me
Yes.
an athletics check. Perfect. Good. Because funny enough, the give me a history check actually. I want to see how much you remember about this. It's been a long time. Even before you turned to stone, it was a long time. But
I'm
luckily,
hot, dude.
yeah, yeah, get rid of them now because once combat starts.
I'm hot.
So
I'm hot,
so
dude. I've been
uh
rolling so good.
so luckily, I mean, to you this has all been in a blink of an eye. You don't know how much time has
Mhm.
passed, but to you, you were getting encased in stone and then you broke yourself out. So you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember these doors I had built specifically as if you're not even strong enough to open these, you are not strong enough to enter. Kind of like a Killua Hunter x Hunter deal, right?
Right.
Like this is a test of might. Luckily for you, I mean, hey,
I
you're the
still
king,
got it.
baby. All hail
Yeah,
the king, baby,
I got
right?
technique over
So you
just brute strength
you
now.
you are able to push and push hard enough to where when it strikes the locking bar on the other side, it makes a loud noise, but it's locked. So
Yeah.
that's where Yomi, you're standing guard on the other side of this door. This is the throne room to the great leader Kaioken. Now, you can't see it on here. We're getting into the theater of the mind deal just for a little bit. You're on the other side of these great double doors. You know that on the other side of this, as long as you have been here, this has been the fabled throne room of the great Kaioken. Um, your job for the last several months, you guys usually rotate, is to guard these doors and make sure nobody comes in, nobody goes out. So there's this massive iron beam across both of them. Think about a foot wide by about 8 inches deep by about 20 feet long. Is this massive stone door that is kind of like put into hooks so that way it blocks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you're standing there having a boring old time. You're about to finish your shift up. It's like midday just about, and all of a sudden you hear this slam from behind you. Now, you didn't let anybody in here. Someone's trying to get out. And you hear a slam and a slam of these doors are like 25 or so feet tall.
And
What?
dwarven make, and they're
Yeah.
super thick.
You're in here, I'm gonna open up a new page here real quick just so that way I can kind of draw this picture a little bit here for you. So, boop and boop. Don't mind how imperfect this circle is. It's perfect. So, let's see here. Don't worry about the perfection. All right. So, let's go ahead and say that you are this boy right here. The doors that you're currently protecting are right here, right? So you know that inside of this circle is the throne room. And you have this giant curvilinear walkway. Kind of opens up. Out here is actually, this is all open air across from you. So you can see the whole mountain range all the way around. Or not the mountain range. You can see all of the Druid Grove all the way around you. 360 degrees if you were to walk this. And from behind you, you just hear the slamming of these massive metal doors that you're told to protect people from going in, that you know houses the once fabled Kaioken. What do you want to do?
Is there any way that I can call out to whoever's inside?
You certainly can't try. You want to try to scream.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay. So you call out. What do you say? Like, are you just like, hey,
Well,
guy?
since I'm since I'm standing guard, I'd be more abrasive and just like say like, "Hey, who's in there?
Who goes there? You've committed a crime.
Yeah.
Who
Stop.
goes there?"
You've broken the law. Yeah. All right. Give me one sec here. This is not correct to do. Why did I do this? Objects and tokens. Can I please stop drawing on your face? That would be great. I'm going to just real quick. Oh, don't look at those. There you go. All right, now you can control this token. Let's see here. What would that be? You know what? No. You can hear. So there's the way that these doors work, right? There is a slight gap. We're talking like eighth of an inch gap between these two doors. As they close almost flush with each other, but there is a gap. So when you hear that slam and you kind of look through, you can see somebody. It's dark on the other side, but you can see a shape trying to, you know what I mean? So yeah, Kaioken, you see through the crack, you see the slight sliver of light, and then you see a form, like a silhouette across the top, like where the light kind of still catches. You probably see like a couple of slight feathers. Maybe it's an eighth of an inch, so I doubt it. But you hear somebody calling to who's in there.
You better let me out before I crawl my way out. Get to you. I did an intimidation check because I feel it's necessary.
So you straight up start to intimidate. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Mr. Yami, do me a favor and make me a wisdom saving throw. Let's see if this works. Give yourself advantage. So roll it twice and take the higher of the two.
Probably know I can't crawl my way out.
That's kind of, yeah. All right. Oh yeah, no. 17
Oh, yeah,
versus your 14. Yeah, no. Not fooling you at all. You kind of you hear somebody in there, but like you don't fucking know who it is. But all of a sudden, someone's trying to like threaten you and tell you that they're gonna claw their way out. What do you do about it?
I want to see if I can intimidate them back. to reveal who they are.
Okay. What do you say? Oh,
This is where RP comes in. So if
Yeah.
you want to do a voice, you can do a voice,
if you don't, then you
or
don't.
you don't. You can just speak how you want to speak. It's
Do you
totally
just
fine.
want to do a halt? Who goes there?
No. Do I have like a faction or anything? Like I'm a knight guarding this door. Do I have a faction that I belong to or
Oh, sure.
order?
What's the name of the Eric Cochran people?
It was the Stone Eagles.
Stone
right?
Eagles.
Stone
Okay,
Eagle
so
tribe.
yeah. So you'd probably be a knight of the Order of the Stone Eagles. Since they were the
Okay.
first people back, they would be considered nobility because, like, Alan, the guy who would have stories of traveling with Kaioken, so on and so forth. But yeah, you'd be Order of the Stone Eagles.
So then I would say uh this is Yomi, the Knights of the Stone, or one of the Knights of the Stone Eagles. I demand you to tell me who you are.
You hear muffled laughter. Um.
Back, 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 back.
It's me. It's Kaioken.
Jabroni.
It's Jabroni.
Okay, so
Is that you, Geoffrey? Did you lock me in here? Get me out of here.
Joffrey?
Geoffrey.
Yeah.
Geo-Offrey.
Okay, hold on.
Oh no. You're writing that down.
Yep. Okay, so so you have just so the person on the other side of this door that you're supposed to protect, which is supposed to house the king Kaioken, and his permanent throne for over 85 years. He has just what's that word? Incanted. He has just invoked the name Kaioken, and that he is Kaioken. You already know the lore that he turned to stone and is protecting this mountain from beyond the grave. But this guy says that he is Kaioken, whoever this is on the other side. What do you do about it?
So I would obviously be unsure about his response. So
enough.
is there any way,
You can do
whether
an
through
insight.
intimidation or insight, or is there anything that I have that can um, make him explain himself?
Well, I don't know about making him explain himself, but you could ask him to explain himself, and he might. You could let's see, if you wanted to, you could probably, like they do in movies, be like, "Tell me something only Kaioken would know," or you know what I mean? Like prove
Yeah.
who you are.
Well, I'm assuming since it's all just lore, that information would be muddy unless I previously spoken to anybody that knew him firsthand, that I
So
would know that information.
in this area, like I said before, he is single-handedly responsible for reviving your entire people. Without him, your race would be extinct.
Right, but
Um,
this was, I mean,
85 years ago, right?
if he's 70,
Plus
80
some.
years,
Yeah. So the thing
I'm
about it is that they've
Like
venerated
3
him.
lifetimes.
Yeah, they've venerated him as such a like near godly figure that they tell the stories of his adventures. They tell they tell the stories of his adventures, they tell the stories of being under his kingship when he was for the time that he was actually like reigning as the apex predator of this place. Like he was the strongest, the baddest, the most cunning person here. You would know all of his glories that he had
so then
yeah.
I would tell him through the doors, if he really is the fabled Kaioken, uh to prove his might that those doors should be nothing to be able to restrain somebody of his power.
Okay. Now, that is awesome. For one, scroll to the top of your character sheet, give yourself inspiration, because yes, 100% you would not trust him and you would want him to prove himself, because literally this whole thing hinges on prove yourself. Like this whole city, this whole people, everything.
Inspiration.
Yeah, so up at the top, right next to your
Dexterity
AC,
points.
there's a little box that says inspiration on it. It's like
So
right to the left of your hit points.
Inspiration's really good. That's awesome. You have it already.
Yeah.
Right next to my hit points.
It's a little empty box.
Right.
Oh, inspiration.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Just click it. Should be like a little fire or some shit like that goes into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
having said that, you do recognize that there is a steel bar that is meant to lock this from anybody, that is about 12 to 16 inches wide, 8 inches deep, and about 20 feet long. It's made out of metal. So you would know that you're asking him to do an impossible task as far as you can tell. But, Kaioken, do you want to try?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna scream as I rage, Geoffrey!
Okay.
And then, like, slam a foot in, like a right back foot, like break the
Brace
stone.
yourself.
And then, brace myself, and then just give it all I got.
Do that shit with advantage, my guy.
Do I just do straight strength, or do I do?
It'd be athletics.
Throw. Athletics, okay.
Yeah, do that with advantage, because that's what I think doing it while raging gives you.
Oof.
Yeesh.
25.
Oh my god, the max that you could possibly get. I think the max you can get is 26. So, yeah, this is, just so you know, a 25 per the rules is nearly impossible, right? So the fact that you just made that, Yami, you end up backing up as you hear what is quite possibly the most frightening thing you've ever heard in your whole life. Your whole life has been in this mountain. You've done some scouting around, whatever. There's been like some minor monsters here and there. Since the fall of magic, you know that there really hasn't been much in the way of monsters, though. So it's been pretty peaceful given the state of the world right now, which is mostly desolate. But to witness what you see as you hear like this deep, guttural, ancient roar from behind the door. Yeah, go ahead.
How I like to think of raging is, do you remember Diablo, when the barbarians would rage? They would do like a and like there was like a shockwave that went around them, and they'd start steaming. You know?
Oh yeah,
like
second gear all the way.
High or key energy flowing off of them. That's kind of like what I think of raging is.
Yeah. And as he pushes this, you see this fucking, like, literally iron beam bend. Not like a slow.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere else.
No, it's not a slow. This is a fast, just, and it's at a sharp angle. And you now see, as his hands are in there, he's opened up about 4 inches of space to where you can see his face. And you see the face that once was made out of stone inside of this throne room. You know it very well. Everybody knows it well. People for years paid homage to this stone statue, praying for it to come back, trying to get their basically their savior to return. And you're watching this angry version made out of flesh and hair and just try to force his way through. And that is sufficiently, like, proven that is, he's probably the only person in this whole place that could do that. But
are you better? And I see, now that I can actually see him, I'm like, Joffrey, you're not Joffrey.
Nope.
Who are you? As I say to Yomi.
Is it my turn?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are just doing your thing.
Just go for it. It's
if you want to. If you just want to, like, say nothing and walk away, that's totally fine too. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I've got
Spread-
one
I-
more. I got one more rage, so
I,
Yep.
I might be able to go.
spread my wings and fly away. Get the fuck out of there.
Joffrey!
Do I know who Joffrey is?
Yeah,
Was
actually.
he put down in lore?
Yes.
He's
So
about to.
so Joffrey is one of the first group of the Aarakocrans that like when Kaioken brought back the civilization, it wasn't all Aarakocran who ever were alive, right? It was the last like two cities or two like different sorry, not cities, tribes. It was the last two tribes of the Aarakocrans for breeding purposes that were that came back. And Joffrey was one of the original tribes. In Kaioken's age, he like when he was in his heyday, he would have been comparable like as far as like age goes. They would have been around the same, but Joffrey was more like he was more of like a politics guy. He was a diplomat. He was very like if you imagine, One Piece, the fucking the stork with the with the monocle who's in charge of the newspaper like people, right? He looks a lot more like that, like much more refined of a bird person than most people. He dealt a lot with the outer lands and like talking to them and just being a basic diplomat, but he was also kind of a pussy. But he proved his worth with his mouth and wait, with his silver tongue as opposed to like his brute strength. So Kaioken gives him shit all the time.
And you would know that Eric Cochran's lifespan is about 20 years long.
Yeah.
They're
So-
a pretty short-lived race, so like you're like could be the fourth generation of
Yeah.
his wing.
Yeah.
So then to get more information, I would ask him, since I hear that name, my character would be startled.
Yeah.
And ask Kaioken how does he know about that name? Because I'm still unsure. Even though I saw this power,
And
obviously
his face.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
True.
I would still be in disbelief of what I saw, and still unsure because I've been guarding this gate.
Here's a good thing that you would know. A story that you would know about Kaioken is not about Kaioken specifically, but it was about his adventuring group, the Breakers of the Legion. Two of them had the latent ability to change their faces. And they used this to great effect a couple of times that really came in clutch. And so these stories have been blown out that, yeah, there are people who, back in the day, back before the world as you know it fell apart, because Yomi, you were not born during the fall of magic and during the cataclysm. You were born in the wake of it. So to you, all of these fantastical stories of dragons and cubic gates and these weird, bizarre heralds from other dimensions slamming it, like all of these stories surrounding Kaioken seem larger than life, seem really grandiose. But one thing that you do know is that people from his era did have magic or abilities to change their faces to imitate people, whoever they like were. So just seeing his face doesn't make any sense. Like, or it doesn't necessarily prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So that would make sense. That's something you would know.
Okay. So yeah, I would still like to ask him, like, how do you know of that name?
Because that's Alan's best friend, Joffrey. Where's Alan? Go get Alan.
Dude.
And he'll sort this out. But you're gonna need to go get a blacksmith and a wizard and a lot of water to thermal shock that bar so you can break it open.
So
Go get your superiors. I'm not going anywhere.
Yep.
I'm gonna try, but I can't. I'm getting tired.
Alan to you, the name Alan would invoke someone who in your culture was on par with Kaioken. As far as your
This is
people,
coming back to bite me, dude. Like Alan,
Yeah.
I picked the name Alan the Eric Cochran.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was funny, and now I'm
Yep.
like going with these like white suburban.
This is
men
what you get for
names.
not taking this. No, I'm kidding. No, this is
Yeah,
great.
seriously.
But Yami, you would
Go get
know
Edgar Allan Crow for me. He'll sort
that's
this out.
that bird died a long time ago, man.
No,
No,
he's a raven. He should be able to live 100 years. Earl lived to like
fucking
a
yeah, I know,
century.
right? But no, he invoked another name, Alan. That's someone who would be more special to you and your people than Kaioken himself, because that was the literal last soul of your people. It was the whole reason why
He's the one.
Kaioken even
Yeah,
knew
he's
who to revive.
yeah. He's
If it
he's
weren't
the
for
person that moved me to.
exactly, if it weren't for him being the weapon master of the last great house of your people before, um, you would not exist. You personally would not exist. So he literally was like the John the Baptist of your people.
Is he still alive?
No, he's been dead many, many, many years. Like he came back and then died. That's how long it's been.
Hmm.
But if you want to go grab some more people, or if you want to test him in any sort of way, like this is still a weird dude who was just able to like try to blow this door open. Um, and you know you're pretty with the times. You know that like in your world, the world is shit wall to wall, man. What do you want to do about it?
Hmm. Is there
So,
is there is
oh, go
there
ahead.
any that I would be able to grab? Like, do I have a superior?
Oh yeah. You've got. I mean, you're not like the top ranked Eric Cochran or anything. You're just a knight. If you want, you can go run up and get your shift leader, essentially.
Is there a shift leader, or is there like a more of like a I guess like a storyteller like of my people?
Yeah. There's a lore keeper. His name is.
Because I'm still I get my character in this situation. I feel like my character is still unsure but curious about the whole thing. So
100%.
I wouldn't necessarily want to go and be like, Kaioken's awake, like help me.
Well,
And then
you certainly wouldn't want to you certainly wouldn't want to open the door for someone who claims to be a guy who, as far as you know, is fucking dead. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
All
But
right, so
I'm still curious about the situation. So
yeah. Okay, so check this out. Let's see here. How can I get you away from these damn? Okay. Anyways, if you look at the map, you'll see this very crudely drawn staircase at the top, right? So you know, if you were to go over to that staircase and down, it would be the first checkpoint because this is the tallest point in the mountain. This is the first, or well, technically the last checkpoint before you got to the throne room. There, you would be able to find the lore keeper, Clarence, who is like one of the like main, basically like the heads of history. You have three in everything that you guys do. You have three representatives. You have a Goliath representative, a dwarf, and an Eric Cochran representative. All three of those for every single important like position that there are. So Clarence would be yours. So you want to go grab Clarence?
is there a way that I could grab the one the Goliath one?
If you want to, yeah. Let's see. This is an Eric Cochran lore keeper. We're gonna call the Goliath lore keeper. Oh
Because I feel like
boy, their
I
fucking
feel like
names are so bizarre, aren't they?
So it's either their middle name is a feat or a discoming, and they can always
Yeah,
grow out of it. So
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah,
like to
yeah.
think of Fatebringer as my middle name would have been like a joke. Like when he was a kid, he
Oh
like
sure.
fate is upon you, and they'd like kill a rabbit, and they're like, oh, there's Kaioken Fatebringer.
Oh yeah, yeah. Back when things were happier times. Back.
Yeah.
See, you've been out of
Before
touch
the
for a little while.
the
You.
Mulduck Yeti.
Yeah. No, I mean. Oh yeah, before that, but even after your time, the world is much different than what you remember.
Oh, okay.
So while I do this, okay, so real quick, Yami, you are going to be going to get lore keepers, right? You're going to go get we'll call him fuck. uh let's call him Tullus. You're gonna go get Tullus the lore keeper. He has other names, but for the most part, you don't really bother yourself with those names on account of the fact that like he's kind of dumb. Like most of the Goliaths compared to Aarakocrans and dwarves, they're kind of dumb, right? To the point where they're like, Superman's the best one, and I only care about Superman. You know what I mean? So when you go to run down, you will actually just saying his name to whoever is down there is going to generate a lot of buzz immediately. Cool? Because you're not going to keep it under wraps. If the Messiah comes back, people are going to know immediately. They're going to, what the fuck, Kaioken's back? Blah, right? Because, Tullus would be the equivalent of a religious zealot. His whole deal is Kaioken, and he needs to keep that legend going, right? Now, is that's still something you want to? That would be something your character would know ahead of time. If that's something that you want to try to do.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, while you're figuring that out, Kaioken, go ahead and give me a perception check. You don't have much of a view, but you kind of have a view of.
Pretty
Nope, you
accurate.
have no view. You're like, you know what? That's
It's
a
bright.
sky. You're like, why is that sky kind of gray? Like that sky looks more like it's got like a sepia tone on it. You think like
Like a
Book of
filter,
Eli.
like
You know,
right. Yeah,
Book of
yeah,
Eli.
yeah.
Everything was slightly sepia,
Reddish.
slightly gray.
Been
Yeah,
fires.
it's just like
Yeah.
it's not a
Um.
bright blue sky like you remember. But
Um.
what do you want to do,
In the
Yami? Well,
meantime, can I try and get one of the torches and then like the magical torches, or do
yeah,
they turn off? Like I'll just have one of those and be near the gates, so it's easier light to see him.
okay, yeah. So you go to grab the torch. Just a point of fact, the torch isn't hot. It's magic.
Okay,
It looks like a regular torch. You could put your hand on it, won't put it out, but it doesn't burn you.
but I can't set anyone on fire.
No, yeah, you're not setting anything.
Got
Well,
it.
I mean, you haven't tried. If you want to try to set something on fire, you might be able to, but I don't know.
It's
Okay,
just for the light purpose, so they
yeah,
can see in.
okay. And then, Yami, you gonna go tell anybody, or you gonna keep this under wraps for now?
I think I'm gonna keep it under wraps.
Okay.
Do I'm trying to think. Did they have like any sort of like any sort of like signature or a way to like a seal or something like only people of that order would know?
Wait, that the order of the Stone Eagles?
No, the order of not the order, the group that Kaioken was in.
Oh, I don't know.
Like only
Kaioken. Would they have like secret language or their own? I feel like they're pretty upfront, pretty abrupt about everything. I don't think that they're
Yeah,
like,
they're pretty dumb.
yeah, I don't
Like
think
at
that they're
least
cunning
Goliaths
enough
are.
to come up with like a
It's
thieves' cant of their own or anything like that. There's no
yeah,
like
it would.
hand signal like he's back. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything like that. But
hmm,
I mean, yeah, I don't. Would Yummy have like a best friend that you might be able to like talk to, or is he like a stalwart? I am a defender. I work and sleep and work and sleep.
I think like like there would be a part of him that would be that way, but more so like falling into the whole like um knights. I want to say like my character's very
Mm-hmm.
uh like very like one set minded.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
necessarily like the only people like his they're like the people that he knows are like his brothers in arms. They're not necessarily
Yes.
like somebody like they hide their emotions from each other and keep everything like more
Stoic.
professional, I
Yeah.
guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what wouldn't be anything that
That would make sense in D&D in general. When before you become like a paladin official, in your character like class wise, you're a knight, right? And the whole point of a paladin is that you take an oath to uphold a code or a law or whatever you feel is justice, right? And part of that oath is like ingrained in you to such a deep level that um hold on one sec. Part of that oath is ingrained in you in such a deep level that my TV tries to fall forward because it's on the floor. Part of that oath is ingrained in you at such a deep level that it kind of takes over like everything, right? The whole purpose is that your oaths and your promises that you make when you join the order of the fucking Stone Eagles is that becomes the center focus of your life. So it would make sense that you would be more stoic and less like friendly with people, like casually friendly with people. It would make sense that you'd be more like for the for the Imperium, you know what I mean? Um yeah, I don't know, man. You guys are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You got a giant iron beam separating this person and all hell breaking loose. Kaioken, do you want to try to lift the beam one-handed?
I'll try since I've got like you said 4 inches.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to pull back on the door a little bit, just on the point where since it's bent
Uh-huh.
out, pull it back in just like an eighth of an inch, quarter of an inch, and then like squat down with my arm. I probably can't get most of my arm through. With my
You get it.
hand
Yeah.
and try and squat it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and
And
give
if
me
that
an
doesn't
athletics check with disadvantage.
okay.
And well, keep
I
that
I
one.
wasn't gonna use
No,
another
no,
rage.
no, no.
Oh,
It's okay. It's okay.
you know.
Take the 20 anyways, because
Okay.
it's easy enough to say that all of this, while it's taken us 20 minutes to get through this, it hasn't
Right.
been a minute for him to go, "Who are you?" And you go, "What the fuck, Joffrey? Where's Joffrey? Get Alan." You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wouldn't take like a full minute for you to do that. So yeah,
Okay.
fuck yeah, dude. A 20, you're able to grip the fucking beam. And it's great. It's crazy to you, Yami, the fact that like you're watching this man one-handed grip steel, and then you just hear the rending sound as he crushes it into his palm and lifts it up and throws it off of the door from outside. So, Yami, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as he's just trying to toss this away from him, but this beam weighs hundreds of pounds. I mean, likely thousands of pounds. I don't know how much steel
just
I-beams
roll on
usually weigh.
dexterity.
8 inch. There's a calculator for that. If it's 8 inch thick and then 20 feet
Yeah.
long, it's
Um, you're
well
looking
over 1,000.
for on the left side of your character sheet, I believe, there's a saving throws box and one that says Dex.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're able to get the fuck out of the way, no problem. In fact, you critted on that That's fucking great. You are able to use your wings to kind of like hop up, and then you do that weird like air step where you step off of the beam as it's flying to get out of the way. So you're graceful. In fact, you're in the air probably about, I don't know, 5-10 feet when these doors come swinging open from Kaioken as he comes out all scruffy old man. He's got, do you have a cowl like when you come out?
No, so I would be in my mind pretty much naked
Yeah.
because like all of the like cloth clothing,
Yep.
like with the sweat, if I was like entombed, is just like tattered,
Or
or if it
stuck
was like
into it.
caught in between,
Yeah.
stuck into it. So I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah.
much just in like my underwear,
Fucking
and you
naked.
just see old man, uh,
Balls to
like
the
Arnold
floor.
strength, you know,
I'm kidding. No, like
kicking around a
yeah.
beanbag.
You see like
Yeah,
CT Fletcher veins. You know what I mean? Like the extra squiggly
right.
ones from being
The
old.
serrations of
Yeah.
that are just like
Oh,
with
yeah,
weird
striations of being old.
proportions.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, yeah. Yes,
ripcord in the wrong places.
that's right. So Yami, you see this man pick the shit up, throw it, and then walk through naked as the day he was born, covered in tattoos. Not this massive hulking figure that you were expecting Kaioken to be, but all of the familiar
Well,
parts are there. He's just a withered version of himself. Like I
really
keep,
quick, I just used
yeah.
a calculator and a 20. Oh, so that's only 20 inches. 20 inches long, 4 inches wide, and then oh, I did that wrong. Never mind. Okay, never mind. Keep going.
No,
I
you're good.
did my math.
It's 16 by 8
It's a
by
lot.
20 feet. So, um, so you see this old man just dick and ball swinging as he comes out, sweaty and like heaving because that still took a lot out of him, but he was able to lift this impossibly large fucking beam. He comes strutting out. Go ahead and move your character out. You would be back here in that dexterity save.
1742.
1,742 pounds.
Mhm.
Oh, I think you're now a part of. You're a part of the drawing. Oh no! Ungroup.
Yeah.
Hiya.
You're part of the
There we go.
wall.
There we go. So yeah, you come strutting out. What do you guys want to do?
Go get Joffrey. I'm tired. I'm staying here. And I sit down.
Okay, I guess my character in disbelief would listen at this point and go get Joffrey.
That kind of shock, like your body's not telling you what to do, but this command is like kind of like, okay, yeah, 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 like almost PTSD type deal where you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, 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 okay, yeah, all right. So you're gonna head up to the stairs that go down, and then just at the bottom of these stairs, it looks very much you're in like a smaller room, right? This room would be boop and clear. So he's away. This room is going to be something more akin to like a real smaller circle. Here's your staircase that comes out this way. There's one other staircase that comes back comes back around this way, right? So there's your stairs. There's this. Boom. Now, you hit down here. And I don't have minis for all of these people. So, you are going to see there's a fancy little wooden desk clerk or clerk's desk right here, right? Are you picking up what I'm putting down here?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a person behind the desk here. There's a couple of people just idly standing by, chit-chatting. Over here, there's a couple of more. And then you'll see over on this side, you'll see a very similar brazier to the one that's inside of the throne room, kind of emitting heat like outwardly towards everybody. And around there, you'll see a dwarf in a cloak, and you'll see an Eric Cochran with a cloak up, and you'll see a Goliath with a cloak up. And they're all three of them are conversing. You would know these three as the lore keepers: Clarence, Tollus, and Bantam. you want to do?
But I don't see.
Yeah,
was
no.
his
Joffrey's
You
been
would know
dead for like
Joffrey's
60
dead.
years.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you would know that, but he's been dead for
So-
a long time.
okay. So I would go grab since the. I would go grab the lore keeper of my people first.
All
Yeah,
right,
you go
so
to your superior.
I wouldn't explain anything. I would just tell him
sure.
you need to come with me now.
Okay, yeah. So you approach the trio. You immediately clock Clarence, and you kind of like come up and just we have to go. And he's talking to the rest of them like, well, you see, we would have to. And then you kind of yes, and that's when you say you have to come with me now.
Mm-hmm.
And he would go, I say, what is this all about? And you can tell he's not like immediately like wanting to follow you. He notices, recognizes the distress, and he's like, what is this? What was your name again?
I think at that point, because my character's so shooken up, I would grab him by his dressings
Okay.
and tell him again, like, we have no time for this. You need to come with me now.
Yeah. 1 sec. Go ahead and give me an athletics check real quick.
Ooh. Athletics.
It's on your long list of skills. Yeah, there you go. 18. Oh yeah, no problem at all. He just and you kind of like whiplash him over as the rest of them. Let's do a little bit of a reaction here. Slash 20, 100. Oh fuck me, of course. Oh yeah, no, the rest of them are too stunned by like this brash, like all of a sudden, like what the fuck? They're like, whoa, as you just grab him and just walk away with him. He's like, what are you doing? What is going on here? Answer me. As you take him back up to the stairs, are you gonna take him just straight back to Kaioken?
Yeah, at this point, I want to like spread my wings and just take off with him. Like there's no
You're
time.
trying to fly up. Okay. Well, fuck. If you're
would
gonna,
know.
huh?
I was gonna say, you know, that'd be kind of hard. With one that's resisting you to fly, that can also fly.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah,
right?
well, kind of.
Like
So
even just
he's too weak to really fight it.
okay.
As you can tell by that D20 roll that I did, that was a 4. He's too weak to
Oh,
really fight it. What will happen though is if you're going to unfurl your wings and like start shooting up these stairs, that's going to immediately alert. Like people are going to put it together relatively quickly. Like, okay, the only room up here is the throne room, right? And you went, grabbed him and right. So no one's gonna react immediately, but they'll put it together rather quickly that something involving Kaioken has happened. So you fly straight up to the top, and that's where we'll go back to. Fuck! I wish I would have just opened up a new map. That's okay. Clear the drawings. And then we'll. You guys remember this thing that I'm totally going to. Yeah, boop, and oh shit. Oh, that's bad. Oh geez, Rick. Oh,
good.
boop. Yep,
It's
and
good.
then yeah, there's a
Staircase and then
door. There's that. Now it's gone from the center to there we go. This
hey,
looks
it's
fucking
way
perfect.
better. It's way better than it's
Yeah.
ever been.
So you're sitting there, and you bring Clarence over, and well, first of all, like up the stairs. Once you get to the top, he does it. Get off of me! I'm a law keeper. Know your place, knight, please. As he kind of like now, what is it? As you guys are walking, he's still following your lead. He's just trying to do that thing where he's like, give me information while we talk or while we walk, please. And then as soon as you crest around this like curved walkway to see Kaioken, at first he doesn't recognize you. You're just a withered up naked Goliath on the ground as he like, oh, and he kind of like slowly walks over. But Kaioken, you would hear this third person, and as you look over, you would see he does have an eagle's head, but beyond that, he's just in these dark black robes.
Joffrey, what's happened?
Jo-
Why have I been locked in my keep?
Joffrey, it can't be. Are you telling me that you have returned? As he kind of like runs now towards you and like looks over you, and he's going to like inspect you. Like he does the like, there you are, Peter, right? As he's like looking
Right.
at your face, and he's like,
I'll stand up and be just kind of like, stop.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
get
so-
Joffrey.
So at this point, you're like a
What are
lanky
you-
6'4" or whatever, right? I think
Yeah.
your size was big sneaking pants or something like that was what
Yeah,
you put
big
for your
sneaky
height.
pants, yeah.
So we'll just say that that's like 6'4", 6'5", right? And he's like 5 foot even, like 5'3" maybe. He's a little tiny dude. So you immediately just like tower way over him, and he's like, oh, come, and he actually is gonna disrobe, and he's gonna cover you in his robe. So you get this like to you it's like a long hoodie. You know what I mean? It just barely covers your dangly bits, right? But he covers you in this, and he's like, we have to go. And you see underneath, he's got this very fine silk outfit. It's like shirt kind of tucked in. He's got these like leather pants, like not like what's that called? Not like smithing leathers, but like a finer like camel skin like get up. And then he's got these sandals for no real reason because he's got talons at the bottom, but they're sandaled talons. Everything about him screams like
upper
status.
class.
Yeah. At the very least, he's not like this fucking knight over here who's in just like studded leather armor with his fucking spears and rapier, whatever. So he ushers you. He like hand on the back, like ushers you towards the stairs. Please, sir. Oh, your highness.
Not
this
yet.
is unexpected.
Not
please.
yet. Who is this one?
What did you say your name was? Tell him. And he's like looking at you, trying to have this like secret conversation in front of this wall of a man that he is clearly like, oh my god, it's him. What is your name? Tell him.
I think at that point I would put 2 and 2 together and realize who Kaioken is.
Oh yeah.
So I would get down on both knees and open my beak. No, I'm just kidding.
Just
get down
sharp.
How dry do you want it?
Oh my god.
I do this thing with my hands, right?
He's not a part of it.
Do you want teeth?
Not dry. You're kinky. If you don't get that reference, man.
Then we all get it.
Yeah,
right. I'd get down on one knee and set down my sword in front of me and say,
before you even do that, he grabs you by the shoulder and like not like forcefully like jostles you, but he like stands you back up and goes to shake your hand. It's like, it's good to not trust. I understand.
It's good to see you, Joffrey.
I had other
just
companions.
racist.
I had other companions that have played tricks on me before, and it's good to know to go with what you know, sort of thing.
Let's
go.
it's fucked up how accurate that is, and I totally forgot that Kaioken would be incredibly paranoid because
Yep.
of his party.
Yep.
Yeah, so Clarence leads you he leads you down the stairs, and boy, you guys meet with this, like, it almost looks like a mob at first, to you, Kaioken. You would see like a dozen, maybe like 18 people congregating, trying to shove their way up as they, "Rah, rah, rah," and you would see like all sorts of Goliaths and dwarves and Eric Cochran all coming up, and they're all like wide-eyed as they see you, and like, "Oh my, is it him? Is it him? Oh, he's back!" And there would be this thing, and they would just like crowd around. This fucking hallway, or this staircase is only like 10 feet wide, right? It's only enough to have a foot race up it to the top. That's as wide as it's going to be. But these people are like cramming themselves in around you. And you see Clarence, like, surprisingly enough, he kind of like takes out this dagger, and he's like, "Back,
You
everyone."
rascallions.
Yeah, exactly. We must get him back. We have to get him to the healing chambers immediately. Look at him. Please come. And so they're gonna take you down. They'll take you to the checkpoint.
Through that, can I scan for any like familiar faces, like just in this confusion of like all these people and like back? What do you
um
mean back? Like,
yeah. Give me a history check.
ooh, that's
Yeah.
almost a two.
You actually see one one of the lore keepers you would recognize. You would recognize Bantam Knuckle Duster.
Ooh, that's a cool name.
He is probably about at the end of his life at this point. Dwarves can live to about 200 years, give or take, right? Um, he's got this thick, like, auburn red beard that, like, it's not long, but it is like thick. Like, think of like your beard thick when it's like as grown out as it can be, and it's got these weird like streaks of white that kind of like, they don't go down, they don't follow the fucking they don't follow the hair, right? They grow laterally, like there's like stripes of white and
Right.
silver, salt and pepper, but it's still very primarily auburn. um the glint of recognition. Give me an insight check. Okay. The glint of recognition and anxiety come over his eyes immediately, and then it's just hurry among this mass. And he
Is it like
begins
fearful? Like he's like, oh God, like,
it
or is it like
it would
I don't know
be
how to.
it would be stress,
Okay.
immediate stress, as
Okay.
he goes to clear the path. And you see him, "Get out of his way, get out of his way, all right, ye bastards, get out of," and he's like trying to clear people, like pulling people from the back, because he was in the back and you were at the front, and you kind of had this like brief instance of like, "Ah," and he went, and then like started getting people, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So he starts ripping people out left and right, and eventually he's able to clear people out of the way for you to like actually make your way. And as soon as like he gets to you by clearing people out, he's like, he looks you right in the eyes, he's like, "My king, it's been so long since I've seen your face." And he drops to a knee, and immediately, like, you can hear him not crying, right? But it comes out as more like a grumbled, like, "Ruh, ruh," and he stands up, and you see him like, he kind of like has it like, "I'm not crying" look in his face, and he grabs you by the hand, which of course his, like, he has to do this to you,
Yeah,
and he
he's a
starts like
dwarf.
walking you down. And at this point, Clarence and Tullus, you don't know who these fucking people are. The other two people who are dressed in similar black robes, they kind of take like a back seat. Well, Clarence doesn't have his. You have
His
Clarence's,
robe.
so wouldn't matter. But you see another Goliath wearing similar robes to the one that you're wearing and the one that Bantam's wearing, where he kind of like looks like. At first, it looks like what, and then it looks like stunned, dropped, stunned. So they're gonna take you down to the main feeding hall, is what you would remember it as.
Yeah.
In the main feeding hall, beep boop beep beep boop. Let's get you guys the fuck out of here. But in the main feeding hall, you are gonna get. It's this massive square room, right? It's got the doors to the kitchen coming out this way, doors down the other end, towards the entrance of towards the next level down, because you guys would be at like. You have 5 floors of this that you've built that go progressively farther out of the mountain. So the throne room literally replaces a chunk of the mountain, like all the way around it, where it looks like the mountain cap is resting on top of the throne room area. And then from inside, it's like if you can imagine like a cylinder inside of this mountain that doesn't grow where the mountain like tapers out. So this would give you access from, let's call this number 1, number 2. You've got the staircase here to number 3, and then number 4 was the Senate room. Well, you wouldn't know what the Senate room was because that was built after you happened. So you're coming out of door 3, right? You get here, and the both of you at this point, you guys are pretty much just like right next to each other. This crowd that's around you guys is drawing you down. So you get to the throne or the feeding room, and in this area, sorry, I probably should have. You've got all of these like rows and rows and rows of tables, that are housing every single one of these kinds of people. Everybody's eating that's in here. It's like a lunchroom, fucking like a school lunchroom. You get to here, and there is like a roaring, like bah! Every single human, or not human, every single like being in this place stands up and starts like arm pumping and cheering and clapping and throwing shit. And they make their way past you guys. So glad I'm recording this so I can actually make some fucking maps of this. So they bring you guys past, and this whole time they're like chanting things like he lives, so on and so forth. Kaioken, you arrive at a couple of doors that you don't recognize. These were built after you died, or after you were petrified.
Through that walk, I'll be like looking over to Yomi, like, I need you to stay with me. I'm not sure if I trust any of this, and you're the only one that makes the most sense.
Do you respond to that, Yomi?
I would. My character, I think, would just say, if that is what you wish.
Nice. So they're gonna bring you guys into the Senate chambers. Now the Senate chambers. Let's keep this in mind. Sorry, guys, I'm going to clear the drawings that I just made. Senate chambers look very similar to the throne room, right? So the Senate chambers, much like any good Senate building, is a circle.
Is
And
that where I was like, my character would say this. It's like, well, then just say it. You
Eh.
know, just
Yeah.
respond. Like it doesn't, and you don't have to do a voice if you don't want to.
No, it's totally fine.
Just
It's
be
not.
like, and just it. This is all about having fun. It's not about being professional. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like if you want to be serious, be serious. But
Yeah.
um, there's it's kind of fun when things are like kind of strange. So don't feel pressured to do the right thing. Just do what
It feels good when things are strange.
yeah, like just have fun. Like this is different because it's there's not a lot of people playing,
Yeah,
but
true.
this is kind of the general thing of where um there's an environment and there's things that you can accomplish. And if it
Mm-hmm.
feels like there's things that you want to do, or even if you don't even know how you would do them, there are you can ask that. Like, I want to actually like see if someone is like taking notes off to the side, or if someone's like spying, or like I want to see what there's a million different things that could be going on that we can't perceive at a given time that you
Mm-hmm.
could be your character would be paranoid about or insightful about, that you can just I want to do that right now.
True.
So don't feel like you're just along for the ride, because this is not like that.
Okay.
Speaking of which, you guys get led into the Senate room. Now, when you guys arrive in here, there are several individuals around marked by the X's. They are representative of all three races. So I think I've got what, 5, 8 there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's put one more for an even 3-on-3. Boom, 9. Cool. So there are 9 people in total in here, and they're sitting on like these, not like platforms or like daises, but they're like Senate seats that you recognize in like any Hollywood depiction of Rome, right? They're sitting in a thing and they're all talking. They all are wearing these white sashes, very Romanesque. Um, in the middle where you guys are at is actually sand. So, um, would you know? Yeah. Yomi, you would recognize like the sand here was brought in after the fact. They created the Senate so that way everybody would have equal say after their um patriarch what happened to him. So immediately rushing in, with Bantam, Tullus, and Clarence in tow behind you guys, you would see this upheaval between these 9 people. They're all arguing across this way, like, "No, you're blah 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 blah." And Kaioken, you would see basically this is diplomacy. This is a democracy that looks like these people are all people that you not like you don't know them, but all 3 of the races that you heralded are here. Um, and they're arguing indistinctly. Um, as you are standing there, kind of like taking it all in for like a brief second, you would notice that Yomi is being like bad to leave with Clarence. He'd be like, please, the Our Highness has very
Clarence,
very
no,
important
leave him, leave him.
leave leave the night.
Yo, yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course, as you wish, as you wish. And he goes to leave, and then Tullus quietly leaves too, and you would see, Bantam kind of like hesitate, like
You too, Bantam. Stay where you are. I need all the friends in this room.
yeah, yes, my king, yes. So as you say that, as you start talking, you would notice that everything got quiet, like silent. Um, Clarence would close the doors behind him, and then you would hear the of a bar locking. Senate is in session.
Hearing that,
Yeah.
I'd like to lean down and is it white sand, you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll lean down and put up, grab some sand and like rub it through my hands and walk to the center of this area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then just like not say anything, and then look at every single one of the members in the eye and just kind of like take their worth, like see who they are, what
Yeah.
they are, if they're scarred, if they're
Um.
strong, like
Yeah. Yeah. every single one of the Goliaths would be scarred in some way. Not like over the face or anything like that. They're wearing next to nothing.
Right.
You would see scarring all over them. The dwarves more likely would look weathered. They wouldn't look scarred. They're not like they weren't brought here for combat. You could assume that they are still all builders at heart, every single one of them. The Aarakocras, on the other hand, it's hard to tell because of the feathers. Like they're not like showing you their
But
wings to
if
show
they're
all of the.
built, it just have
Yeah,
to like capable. Like I'm looking for strength.
sure.
I'm looking for
Mm-hmm.
position. I'm looking for
Aarakocrans, they're pretty lithe, just in general. They're slight. Most of their race is fairly thin because they're birds. They can't be too fat, otherwise they can't fly.
right.
But for the most part, yeah, they look pretty slight. Like they all look. Everybody here represented is pretty stereotypical of what you would expect.
Okay.
Um, the Goliaths, like you left them, were stalwart fighters.
Okay.
They were
Good.
always the first. They're like the Spartans. They were the first to run into any kind of battle. Whenever there was any
Good.
baddie that would try to invade or whatever, the dwarves
Exactly.
are grimy, gritty. You can tell they're like down and dirty. And then the Aarakocrans are they're feathered birds, man. They're like
Okay.
they don't have like broken beaks or anything like that, but yeah.
Then I'll do that and just wait for a response, like to see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I don't got
Um
anything right now.
no, very very good, very good. Immediately all of them are going to come in for a much less uh a much like quieter, a much more not personal, but a much more
Strategic engagement. Roll for initiative.
exactly. Exactly. Let's see here. So you'll have like this half dome around you of people who are all like fanboying the fuck out, by the way. Every single one of these dudes is like, "Oh my god, he's fucking back," right? And they are all going to be in stunned silence for a minute until one of them, a Goliath, steps forward. And he'll kind of look you over, kind of stern in the face. And he'll nod his head and he'll go, "So you've come back to us. We
I
knew it would
don't
happen.
I don't know where I've been, but I'm ready to learn what has happened.
Your Highness, it's been
No,
far too long.
don't call me that.
Well, whether you accept it or not, the perception is you're the ruler, rightful. Unfortunately, things have gotten muddy over the last century or so. How do I put this? You'll need to go through the test again. But before any of that, there has been a question that has been plaguing this whole city for nearly 100 years. What happened? Do you want to just like kind of gloss over the recounting of your last day sitting there, turning to
Yeah,
stone, breaking
yeah.
free, so on and so forth? So you do
Uh,
that. Yeah.
yeah, just exactly as this session is gone. I
Yeah.
broke out of the stone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they
I
all kind
don't
of like,
mention anything about the crystal.
no, no, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't want to I want to leave that separate.
Yeah, of course. And so they kind of all like, yeah, all right. And then the Goliath that's in front of you, he goes, "So it would seem that no greater insight could be gleaned from your presence here. This is what we have." And he kind of looks over to one of the Aarakocrans and he nods. And he produces from underneath his robe this one little thin box. It looks like a necklace box, right? and he hands it out. The Goliath takes it, opens it up, and then like turns it towards you. And what you see inside is you see a wand. And the wand looks kind of like this. So this magic wand that you have, you should be able to click on it, I think.
I don't. Oh yeah, I do see it. Okay.
Yeah. So this magic wand here, as you could tell, it's made out of metal, right? The end of it looks like the end of a dagger, and then it spirals into this shape. And then at the end of it, instead of this knobby part here, you actually see what looks like an eye that's been grown in and over it. But you can still see the pupil and the iris.
Okay.
And they go, "This was left at the scene when we found you in the state that you were just in. And that is the state that you stayed in for 85 years.
I don't understand who would have done this.
We have been trying to figure it out the same. Unfortunately, almost simultaneously with your imprisonment, the world suffered a catastrophe." And then he begins to tell you, oh, what? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, is that why the sky has lost its vibrance? Is that why the earth has lost its lust?
That is an unfortunate side effect of what has happened. It would seem, well, now's probably not the time to get into it. You have much healing to do. Of course, you are welcome to one of the guest quarters. We will treat you as one of our sacred elders. You must get cleaned up. We will have a water bath ran for you to clean some of the remaining rock off of you. We will have you fitted for clothing, and then you will have to meet the king.
Hearing
And
that, he just kind of like squints his eyes and
yep. And
the
that's where we're gonna end it.
nice. That was a good one.
So, we'll pick this up maybe next week, maybe not. Who knows? We'll find out. This is gonna be pretty interesting how we pick up the next one due to the things that you have said. Just in the last few minutes. Yeah. This is gonna be good. So, yeah, that was fun.